What's going on, powerhouses? Alex Schlinsky coming at you here today with Rob Sayles. So excited to be here today. It's going to be a great podcast. We appreciate you taking the time to watch us. It is, I believe, today with Rob Sayles. So excited. Sorry about that, guys. See, that's what happens when you go live. It's actually live on your computer. So you should have been able to hear my echo there. But we're live now. Guys, you know the deal. If you are watching with us live, throw a W in the comments below. If you're watching on replay, throw an R in the comments below. If you're watching on or listening to on Stitcher or iTunes or SoundCloud or wherever else, we appreciate you. Thanks for checking in. We're going to bring some major value to you guys here today to enjoy this time. Hopefully have an amazing Monday. We'll do some Monday motivation, I'm sure. And you guys are just going to love Rob's story. He is very, very inspirational. He's a very smart person and someone that you really want to listen to. I'm always inspired by Rob's posts in POD, and you guys get a chance to hear him out today. So guys, first of all, welcome to the podcast. This is a show for entrepreneurs, marketers, and aspiring business owners. Each episode will feature a POD Hall of Famer from our Prospecting on Demand community and our mastermind. Now, each Hall of Famer will have a spotlight to share insights on their topic of expertise, and you can utilize these tips and tricks to grow your business and brand. Today, I'm going to be joined by creative strategist Rob Sayles. He's also a Facebook marketing expert, influencer. He's brilliant in every single way. Rob, how you doing today, my friend? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm very well. Hello, everyone from sunny Norfolk, UK.
Wow, look at that. Coming in from the other side of the world. It's pretty amazing what technology can do these days. Being able to have a Zoom call across the world, I just love it. It's just amazing stuff, guys. Everyone that's checking in now, we appreciate you. Thanks for being here. We will have a Q&A session, obviously, so if you have any questions as we go along, throw them in. I'll be taking a keen eye on these actual videos. If you're watching with us live, again, let us know. Throw a W in the comments below. If you're watching on replay, throw an R in the comments below. Also, let us know where you are actually watching from. I see Rhea, Billy, John, Rose, Talvir, Alvin. The POD family is showing up and showing out for my man, Rob Sayles. I love it, and I appreciate all you guys. It looks like they just changed the like feature. I don't think I can like these comments anymore until I'm done with this video. So that's kind of dumb. So I apologize about that, guys. I don't like that, but whatever. Facebook changes things and we don't control it. That's what it comes down to. What's up, Brandon? Happy to have you here, brother. All right, guys, let's dive in today. The first thing that I want to do, it's Monday. It's Monday motivation. And I'm going to be really frank and upfront here. Rob and I, when we first started working together, I wanted him to join POD. I'm going to be honest. He gave me some excuses as to why he didn't want to join POD. We ended up chatting a couple times.
I need romancing.
Yeah. So that's actually what he told me, basically. He said, look, I'm interested. I'd love to know more, but right now I'm super busy. I'm trying to get a lot of stuff done. Let's get on a call and discuss it. We did. He decided to join us after some time, and it's been an amazing journey to watch him grow in POD and share the value with other people in POD. He shares immense value in our community, and that really makes a big difference. But one of the things I wanted to bring up here and why I brought that up in the first place is because Rob admitted something to me a couple months or weeks ago, maybe even. And I'm going to bring this up and then let Rob kind of take the reins here. And that was a slight confidence issue. When I first spoke with Rob, the first thing he wanted me to do is kind of review this beautiful creative branding he created for a funnel. And it was way overcomplicated, super convoluted, gave him some thoughts on it. He utilized it, implemented it, changed it, made it beautiful, and then soon thereafter had his first $10,000 day in Prospecting on Demand. And in my next follow-up with Rob, he mentioned to me that he was struggling a little bit with kind of these shiny object syndrome, something we talk about a lot in POD, in Powerhouses here, about the idea of there's 2,000 ideas I can go after. There's a million ways to make money. How do I focus, right? How do I gear it in? I sent Rob a quick voice note, just, with my fire and my passion, like, you got this, you're going to crush it. And, he came right back and mentioned that, and then shared a great piece of value on POD about being motivated and being confident and staying true to yourself. So Rob, I want to give you the first chance now that it's Monday. I think it's a perfect opportunity to start with that. How would you tell someone right now that's, looking at Monday and thinking, oh, another week, I'm struggling here. I've got 5,000 ideas. I'm nervous. I don't feel good about myself. I've got imposter syndrome. I've got shiny object syndrome. I'm struggling. I'm not good enough. What's the motivation that you've got for them today, Rob?
The motivation I would say is to have a plan, a really, really simple plan, a vision, and follow it religiously. I think it's too easy to end up all over the place. There are so many different opportunities, so many different options that you end up trying to be everything and ultimately don't get anything, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
As a designer from way back in the mid-90s, I've been in this space for 20 years, one way or another. It's very easy to get something and polish it. And what you forget is that there's a market out there that's waiting for what it is that you do. And you need to be unrefined. You need to be clear. And you need to just get out there and do it.
Man, I love that so much. I shared a quote the other day, and I'm going to totally butcher the name, so I won't even try. It's from an African author. I wish I could say his name because it would be fair, but I just can't, unfortunately. But you can see it on our Instagram, and it's just an amazing quote. Now, I don't have it off the top of my head, but the idea behind it is essentially start now. Start yesterday. Start with all the fear that you have in your heart. Start with all the emotional, baggage that you have. Stop making the excuses and just start. And that was one of the big things that Rob really implemented when he joined POD. Rob was already successful. He had already made money online. He already helped other people online. I saw him from another group, and that's why he ended up joining us. But one of the big things that he was stuck on was this idea of there's so many different opportunities. What do I just do? The first thing is you just got to start. And I have the quote here, and I'll read it to you guys. Start now. Start where you are. Start with fear. Start with pain. Start with doubt. Start with your hands shaking. Start with voice trembling. But start. Start and don't stop. Start where you are with what you have. Just start. I don't think there's a possible better Monday motivation quote than that right there. His name is Ijeoma Umebinio. I tried. I really did.
Yes.
I think I crushed it there, right? I think the point again, guys, is Rob and I can come on here and share a bunch of strategies with you and share value with you, and we will. But really the biggest thing that we're going to tell you is just start. Stop creating those objections in your mind. Stop trying to outthink yourself. Stop trying to outthink the competition and just start. Just go after it. Make it happen. Create these opportunities. It will all work in the end. And even when it doesn't work, even when things look bad or look dreary, you just learn from those scenarios and you get better. I'm not saying it's going to be fun to go through those scenarios, but you learn and you just get a lot better. So guys, that's where we will get started today. If everyone feels that and feels powerful about that, write start in the comments below. I'd love to see a bunch of starts here so that we can get people going on the right direction, feeling confident in what they're doing. Now, the reason everyone here joined today for today's podcast is because we want to hear from Rob Sayles, not from me. So I'm going to really give this over here to Rob. I'm going to ask a couple questions, and we're just going to kind of go back and forth. If you guys have any questions, let us know. What's up, Kevin? Just let us know. One of the things that Rob does amazingly well is he builds out these incredible creative strategies. He's got a really strong reputation behind him that allows him to be elevated with this very high positioning. And as you can see here, we've positioned him on an even higher pedestal. And it's amazing to see someone like him really utilize that and take action with. I'm seeing a bunch of starts. I love that, guys. Appreciate that. So Rob, why don't you share with everyone a little bit about what you do and what you've been learning over the last 3 months of 2018 that we can all implement as well?
Yeah, that's cool. So let's backtrack. Let's do a quick summary of how the hell I got to where I am now. 96, internet born, started playing around with it, absolutely loved it. You can imagine all the changes that the internet and digital marketing's been through in that time, changes in technology, changes in platform, consumer behavior, all of that stuff. And all along the way, I was learning to be a designer and a developer and a technician and a project manager. Lots and lots of different rounded skills to kind of get me to, let's say, a year ago, when you and I first started having conversations, Alex, and things started happening. To me, brand has always been key. And by brand, for anyone that doesn't understand the concept of brand isn't just your logo. It's not just the choice of colors. It's actually the entire essence of your business. A good way to think about brand is to imagine how a business can communicate when you're asleep. So when you're not actually at the helm, when you're not doing the phone call, when you're not representing yourself on video or doing a live or doing a blog or talking to someone in a face-to-face networking situation, your brand actually carries the essence of the business, what it is, what it stands for, who it helps, those kind of things. And that's something that I learned a long time ago. But I think, in all honesty, I got very, very lost probably 2 years ago in the whole shiny object syndrome. Like, which platform do I pick? What kind of industry do I go and work with from a client-based point of view? And it was only 6 months ago, kind of talking with Alex, and I think also some of the things that I was going through, when I realized that actually simplicity is the key. And to have a great brand, it has to stand for something that is very, very easy for the audience to understand. They have to instantly recognize what it is that you do and how you can actually help them. And I see so many businesses, I mean, digital agencies, you know, guys like yourselves that might be doing something online, you might be representing yourself in some way. And it's very, very difficult if you step outside of actually the persona that you've created for the business. It's difficult as an outsider to understand what it is that you actually stand for, how you can help the client, how you can help them identify the pain point, how you can help them overcome the gap, how you can be the person that's going to actually support them in growing their own business. And for that reason, and also with talking to a mentor probably 6 months ago, I actually realized that as a designer and a producer, I could do lots of different things, but I needed to focus. But the thing that I was also missing was I have a great capability for actually coming up with strategies for businesses. Now, whether that's a brand strategy, simplifying your essence and actually getting it out there consistently, everything from how it looks to how you communicate, the platforms that you use, your messaging, your profiles, all that stuff, to your content marketing strategy. How are you actually going to communicate with an audience, your ideal audience? And that, as a service, is probably now 30 or 40% of everything that I do. And I won't even start producing things for clients until we've gone through that strategy process, until it's very clear that we know who the client's ideal audience is and how it is that we're actually going to communicate with that audience. So yeah, brand strategy, content strategy, consulting are massive parts of my business now. And it's made such a difference because I only work with clients that understand the importance of that stuff.
I love that. And Rob, one of the big things that I'm taking away from this, and I think everyone needs to hear this, is the idea of this recurring revenue model and understanding where you simply can help people and then how you can create that into a model that allows you to get paid every single month, month in and month out. One of the problems that Rob came to me at in the beginning of Prospecting on Demand was that a lot of his services were one-off, and he was trying to figure out how to make that go from one-off clients to a recurring revenue model, building that value ladder of here's my low-end offer, here's my core offer, here's my upsell. How do I consistently build them out? So I'm going to do something now that I think is going to take Rob a little bit off guard, and that's always fun because
come on, bring it on.
That's our goal here. I'm going to share a post that Rob made back in December 2017, and I'm going to read it to you guys. And I think this here will give you some very serious clarity as to Rob's growth. Now, this is December 15th, 2017. And Rob posted in our group and said, I had my first 10K day ever yesterday. Obviously, that's a 10K return on the investment on Prospecting on Demand, but that's not the point. What he wrote right after is the point. Now, he wasn't even going to allow the 10K day to be this big deal. What he wrote after is what matters. It's very short-lived excitement, though. It's mainly strategy and consulting work in January, which I'm great at, but it's not my future. Monthly recurring revenue, and it's not easy to outsource. He says he's realized he's grown massively. He's laser transitioned on his focus for his true vision, which is really growing monthly recurring revenue. Now, this was 3 months ago, Rob. How have you done so far in the first quarter of the year in transitioning from these big opportunities on the month by month volatile market to monthly recurring revenue?
They are connected, strangely. I actually worked out that it's a filtering process.
Yep.
So what I do with a client is I have in fact, it's here.
Yeah, I love that.
I have a pre-qualifier, and I'll leave it on the screen for a second. Basically, what I'm looking for is certain sorts of clients, and that helps with my prospecting method. But what I do is I put them into paid consulting, and if they're not prepared to do the paid consulting, that means that effectively for me, we're probably going to go straight to production, which is likely to fail. So although I still do the paid consulting, effectively it's a paid pre-qualifier or romance period with a client, which then leads to MRR. So
brilliant.
The last 3 clients that I've onboarded since January, which are they're around about 3,000 a month each, all went through that process. So it was a fixed single fee for the consulting period, which allowed me to go and do some audience analysis, do some competitor analysis, some market analysis. They paid for that stuff, quite handsomely paid for that stuff. And it became the blueprint that I used for the MRR advertising, the traffic and funnel services, which I actually run, which is
amazing,
60% of my business. So I worked out that it wasn't a problem. What I also realized back in January was I wasn't getting paid properly for it, and I kept working with the wrong clients.
I love this. There's a couple things that I want to make note of. What Rob really realized was that this is his value ladder. He's got a front end offer that then allows him to upsell into monthly recurring revenue, and that allows him to grow his business to achieve the goals he has. That's what everyone here should be focused on. Either you have a front end offer that cannot be really outsourced or can't be really recurring, but that qualifies them to go to the recurring platform, or you start at the recurring platform. The reason I showed that 10K a day result is simply from the mindset focus. Rob knew he got a big win. No one is doubting that making $10,000 in one day is nothing to scoff at. That's a big deal. It's a huge win. But when we're winning because we're working really hard rather than working really smart, it's not as powerful as winning when you create a strategy that's effective in the long run. And that's one of the major things that I try to do here in Prospecting Powerhouse is help you understand what it takes to create a strategy. I released, Rob, recently the Quick Win Challenge, a couple videos that are free now to people in Prospecting Powerhouses that are part of the Prospecting on Demand video trainings. And basically the first video I say, this is not a long-term system. You can make money with it, but it's not a long-term system. What you need to have is creating a system. And that's why Rob is talking about this brand development. The beginning of that system is understanding your brand, understanding who you're servicing and how you're servicing them and why you're servicing them and why they're purchasing from you and how they can continually see the same type of offers and people consistently time in and time out. I think that's one of the biggest keys that you can possibly imagine in this business is actually having a strong brand, a system developed for monthly recurring revenue, and being able to grow to become the CEO. That's one of the biggest things that I think we can really focus on as entrepreneurs moving forward. Rob, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the idea of being a CEO versus being a freelancer and contractor. As someone that's worked really, really hard in this industry for a long time and has made some transitions in your business to delegate a little bit more work and free up your time, but maybe not necessarily being 100% CEO level. What do you think is that fine line, that middle ground that people need to find to be, I'm going to delegate some work, I'm going to do what I like, I'm going to make enough money, have a small overhead? How do you kind of find the balance?
That's a really good question. And actually, the last question wasn't hard. For me, this one is. And you know, and the guys in Pod will know, the guys in Powerhouse perhaps don't recognize me so much, but that's cool. But I'm always like wear it on the sleeve, super honest about stuff.
Yes.
I'm still going through the process of working out how to actually be the CEO. What I think is more important than anything else is letting go, is very carefully planning the activity to let go. Don't just go, right, Fiverr gigs everywhere. You know, let's just get rid of all this work that I'm bringing in. I just want to be the guy with the smartphone and I'm going to bring the work in and I'm going to ship it out onto Fiverr. That might not be suitable. It may be that you need to build relationships with other people, other agencies, outsourcers, contractors that can actually do the work. But I would say 95% of that is mindset. I completely forgot that when I was probably 6 or 7 years in, so around about 2002, 2003, I started studio managing big UK agencies, like looking after teams of 50, 100 guys doing design and development and stuff. I was like an air traffic controller, quality controller, responsible for actually reporting up to the directors and things. And I forgot about that skill. And it was probably that time around about January when I did that 10K, post, that 10K day post, that I realized that those kind of skills, the ability to spin lots of plates, but effectively have other people working on your behalf, with a certain amount of control, a certain amount of checking and quality control, and a certain amount of liaison and update with your client, you can actually make it work. For me, it means going and finding the right kind of guys at the right kind of price to do the work, but that's not impossible. 10 years ago, you would have had to have had a black book full of people that you could call, and then you'd be negotiating rates and availability and all the rest. Now, you can go and find this stuff online, a variety of different sources. There are fulfillment centers, there are all sorts of different places to do it. But it does come down to, for me, working with guys in agencies in that studio space is knowing what you need and knowing what they're capable of. If you don't know those two things, if you can't brief someone to do some work on your behalf, what you will get back is not what you expect. And obviously, if you are the client liaison and you're the one that's got your name on this stuff, the client is oblivious to the fact that you've white labeled, then it's your reputation that's going to go with it.
Exactly. And I think, Rob, that's the biggest problem most people have, that they're worried about their own reputation and they're unwilling to kind of let go. So there's two things that I'd challenge everyone here today. And as I say this, if anyone has any challenges with becoming the CEO of their business, feel free to comment below. Let us know kind of what your problem is, and we can try to iron it out for you here. But I think really Rob nailed it with those two major points. And the first is it's really a mindset. You really have to be able and willing to let go. You have to be willing to understand that things are not going to be perfect on the outset, but working really, really hard consistently, while it's valuable and important to your business's growth, that will not allow you to achieve your dreams. It will not allow you to achieve your goals. It's just proven time and time again. Any massively large company has a structure with a CEO, managers, employees, or contractors. It's the exact same thing in the entrepreneurial digital marketing space or anything really related at all. The big first key is understanding that you have to be able to let go in your mindset and understand who you need, why you need them, how you need them. Understand where your profit margins are and make sure that the people you work with can actually deliver on the services. That doesn't mean it's going to be roses and daisies all the time. Doesn't mean you aren't going to have bad people working on your team. And it also doesn't mean that it's going to make your life always 1,000 times easier. There's a process to it, but it's a requirement in order to achieve your goals. And I think that's one of the biggest things in the long run for everyone trying to achieve that $10,000 monthly recurring revenue goal or $25,000 or $50,000. At one point, you can't be working from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every single day and expect that you're going to be satisfied with that business. You won't be. You're going to be dissatisfied. I'd rather you make $3,000 recurring revenue working 2 hours a day than working 15 to 12 to 15 hours a day on a business that's dragging you through the mud. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with. So I think it's very valuable to hear your thoughts on how you're kind of in that transition right now, Rob. And it's exciting to hear that process because I think a lot of people don't know how to overcome it.
I think there's something else worth pointing out as well. And I'm going to challenge the guys that are watching this with this one. Now, I'm not the best at everything, but I can brand and I can build and I can test. I've seen it all. Big clients, little clients, whatever. I've been through the ringer in 21 odd years. So I'm not too damn bad at producing stuff. But what I realized 6 months ago is there's a copywriter over there. That's all he does. Man, he's shit hot. He's great. There's a brand guy over there. He just lives and breathes brand. There's a developer behind me. He's great at Liquid on Shopify. There's a guy over here that does funnel stuff. You get my point. There are people that breathe this stuff because that is how they're wired. That's all they want to do. SEO specialists, whatever. If you try and do everything yourself, I promise you, regardless of how egotistic you are not going to be as good as the specialist ever, because you're spreading yourself too thin. And I've been through it twice in 3 months, burnout, and it is not nice, where you can't sleep properly because you're concerned about the workload. You get up, you start working, you grind yourself. You don't ship work out because you have this mindset of fear about letting go, control issues. And you do the very best that you can, but then when the client's not satisfied because it's not quite what they're expecting, you feel deflated, you grind yourself down. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And what I would say is, as quickly as possible, work out the way to elevate yourself to the business owner and work on the business with specialists pinning down everything that you need within the business.
So important. One of the things I wrote for the 5 things I learned this week, it's an amazing quote. I don't know who came up with the quote, so if anyone does know, let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear this, but an unbelievable quote. Constant grinding can turn an iron rod into a needle.
I love that. Yeah.
So powerful. Yeah. Here's the thing, and it's another one this is from J. Trevor Chapman. I love this, and one of my favorite quotes. Hustling is just showing up to practice, meaning good for you. You got up, you hustled, you showed up to practice. Guess what? You're not special. There's a lot of people who hustle really, really, really hard. People that work their ass off and they don't make it work. Why? Not because they're not intelligent enough, not because they don't understand what's necessary, just the dominoes don't fall their way. Nothing is surefire in this world. That's not how this world works. Rob nor myself are here to tell you, no matter what you do, X, Y, and Z, if you do it, you're going to win every time. That's not how it works. It's just not how it works. Even the most professional people in professional sports, in the professional playing field, in legal, medical, there's always the undesired results, and it happens. No one is 100% ever. I use that baseball quote a lot. I'm not even a baseball fan, but if you bat 30% in your career, like 3 out of 10 times you get a hit, you're basically a Hall of Famer. 3 out of 10 times. That's not even, that's worse than an F in grade school, right? That's mind-boggling, but that's Hall of Fame level as a professional. So stop trying to hustle a lot. Stop trying to come into practice. Win. By winning is putting together a great team, right? Teams. It's not individuals. It's teams that create winning. Hustling allows you to build a team that allows you to win. That's what matters. Constant grinding can turn an iron rod into a needle. Remember that. Remember that. Rob, we're going to switch pace here. We're going to do a quick little fun thing that we do on the podcast, and this is what we call hot words. I'm going to just throw out some words to you. I did not share these words with you prior, so I just want you to come back to me and give me your quick thoughts on these words. We're then going to ask you about Facebook's change with what's going on with Cambridge Analytica and all that kind of jazz, see what your thoughts are there. And then we'll close out with the standard POD cast question, which I'll let you guys wait on that for a minute. But before that, let's dive into hot words. This is one of my favorite parts of podcasts. First thing that comes to your mind, just throw it out. Ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. Number 1, Facebook.
Painful.
Ooh, interesting. Number 2, branding.
Important.
Number 3, LinkedIn.
Killer.
Number 4, systems.
Vital.
Number 5, mindset.
You'll die without it.
6, entrepreneurship.
Buzzword.
That's a good one. Buzzword. You got me off my game on that one. I love that. Now that one, that's a winner. I'm going to stop. I'm not even going to say the other ones. Buzzword wins. That's perfect. That is the thing. Because I hear a lot of ones on entrepreneurship.
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it too much now. I'm starting to think this is just a buzzword. Are you a business owner? You're an agency owner? What are you? Stop talking about entrepreneur.
The last one I had was freelancer versus CEO, but I mean, you just crushed it with that. So we're going to move on from there, but that's great. I love hot words. It's always a fun little segment. Let's move on here to, everyone knows what's going on. And that is what's going on with Facebook. Now, I'm going to preface this real quick with a couple things that I want to share but before Rob dives in. First of all, Rob knows a lot more about Facebook than I do. Simple as that. Simple as that. He just went to one of their Facebook conferences over in the UK. Was it in the UK?
No, Brussels.
Oh, Brussels. Okay, my bad. He went over to Brussels, went to one of the conferences. This was probably in the last 2 months or so. Shared a bunch of great value in POD about it. He'll share some notes here. But obviously, I'm sure you guys have heard about this, data leak and Cambridge Analytica and all this jazz. And people are kind of up in arms over it. They're a little bit concerned. Here's my thought up front, and I'll just share my thoughts on two things. One, I think Facebook is kind of at the point that it's a little bit too big for it to fail now. I don't think that's a logical statement in the long run and growth for years and years to come. But if you're like concerned right now that Facebook's going to explode in the next month, it's not happening. So stop worrying about that. It's nothing to be concerned about in that sense. Is this damaging to Facebook's reputation? Probably. Does it hurt sponsorships? Maybe a little bit. But I don't think it's going to really slow down Facebook's, massive momentum. They're basically a massive cheese ball running down the hill. I use that for you, Rob, in the UK, the cheese ball thing. If anyone's not in the UK, look it up. There's a cheese race. They do a rolling thing. It's cool.
It's true. I'm sorry, guys.
It's real. It's very real. But the point is, I think the momentum is too strong for Facebook to be really concerned about. But I'll let Rob take it. The only other thing I'll say here, and this is what I'm very keen on. I'm big on sports. You guys know that. It's one of my big things. I'm always very keen on what Facebook is doing in the sporting world to bring people of our age, millennials, to come back on Facebook. Millennials will breathe life into Facebook or snuff it out in the next 5 to 10 years. We need the youth generation to be on Facebook because they're the next generation that will be able to purchase or make their parents purchase and create the opportunity long running for entrepreneurship on Facebook, right? Buzzword, right? So one of the big things that I saw in the recent month is they bought rights for MLB baseball games, I think 25 per week. Again, I'm not a baseball fan, but the more people on the platform, the better. That's always something to consider. Even with this kind of garbage going on with Cambridge Analytica, just keep that in mind. Just one of the quick things that I wanted to kind of mention. But now let's hear from you, Rob, as someone that's really, in depth on Facebook, really understands the ins and outs. What do you think about this whole, scandal that's going on?
Yeah, so it's timely. I was doing Facebook when there were walls and pokes many years ago. What's basically happened with Facebook, let's get it straight. It's the biggest social media platform in the world.
Oh, yeah.
It's more sophisticated, obviously a different audience generally, but more sophisticated than LinkedIn. It's hoovered up all sorts of functionality. It's copied Snapchat. It's bought Instagram. It's huge. So get it in some context straight away that it's a massive beast. What happened a few years ago was it started losing itself with its own quality control. It developed products in isolation. It effectively developed a whole load of business products, including the advertising platform. Didn't really clarify to most business owners that the advertising platform would run out of space. It would run out of tarmac. It would run out of real estate on the screen. Things would get more expensive. And then last year, it had all the problems with fake news. It had the problems with Russian hackers. It had various scams running. And basically, Mark Zuckerberg sat down with Sheryl Sandberg, who is Mark's right-hand woman. She's the COO, and said, we've got a problem. This isn't the vision that I had for Facebook when I started it. I wanted it to be about community, and I wanted it to be about friends and family connecting with each other. And we've got all these weird limbs all over the place. So this was the news that he put out in January, was about bringing it back, changing the algorithm, changing the way that information.
And everyone lost their collective minds.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody went crazy. The thing is that been happening for 18 months. It just so happened that it was a big news piece and everybody caught on to it. The algorithm's been changing for quite some time. There have been changes to the products for quite some time. It was just a line in the sand that he drew and decided enough is enough. This is how it's going to be. What it's left us with, and I'll come on to Cambridge Analytica in a minute, but what it's basically left us with is a platform where predominantly the newsfeed is more focused on friends and family. The products now are almost like bubbles in wallpaper. For businesses, the ads platform is becoming more expensive. You have to be better at running ad campaigns to get reasonable CPC, to get reasonable campaign costs. If you're not very good at targeting, if you're not very good at addressing your audience and compelling them to do something with an ad, you'll get costed out of the market simply because there's only a certain amount of advertising space that can be used, which is partially why the messenger bot platform is doing so well, because it's another space that people can actually run ads in. And you'll see ads start to launch in groups as well soon. I'm pretty sure of that. Fast forward to the Brussels session that I did. Sheryl Sandberg was there, the COO. And I knew that things were changing when she put her hands up in this big keynote speech that she gave and basically said, I'm sorry to the business community. We didn't make it clear what our product range was and what our vision was for Facebook, where things are actually headed. We've let you down. You don't get the support like you would on the Google AdWords platform. You don't get the kind of quality control that you get on something like the LinkedIn platform. Yes, our targeting's better, our data metrics and the data that you can hook into is far superior to anything else, but actually we're missing some things. And then Cambridge Analytica happened. So this was a great giveaway as to how Facebook's left businesses to just go and do their own things for years. You'll know the news. You will have seen it on CNN. Guys in Europe will have seen it on Sky or BBC or whatever. But effectively what happened is some guy developed an app. That app was hoovering data. That data was used and reused. It was then misused. There were some quality control issues. The Trump presidential election hooked in.
Wild West out here, guys. That's
absolutely.
It's still the wild west. There's people making hundreds of millions of dollars on Facebook. Yep. And they don't have a great tracking of it. They don't have a great hand on it. They say they affected the election, may or may not have happened. There's fake accounts, there's spam accounts, people's data has been hacked. But here's the point that Rob and I believe are under the same page here. It's outside of your locus of control. Don't focus on it. The point is, and why Rob is a brand strategist, is build your brand, not relied on the platform. We're not saying to forget about Facebook. It's too valuable to do that. We love Facebook. We get it. But build your brand outside of Facebook. Build your brand where it will last no matter what happens with Facebook, because we don't know. I think Rob and I both agree, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but Facebook's not going anywhere. Even with this scandal, it's not going anywhere. It's going to be fine. But even if that was the case, even if it was in its, tipping point and it's going to, explode in the next 10 months, be prepared for that. Be prepared. Be on Instagram like Rob is talking about. Be a branding specialist for your business, or hire a branding specialist, aka this guy, Rob, right? That's the idea. And we're going to share with you guys how to get in touch with Rob at the end of this call. But that's kind of the purpose of this podcast, is come on here and share value with you and explain to you how, it's all about mindset. It's all about understanding your reality and where you're at right now. But stop letting these ancillary objections come your way, right? Stop letting Facebook's algorithm stop you from doing what you want. Stop trying to pretend that you're just this hustle master rather than a person that's skilled enough to manage people. Be willing to let go. Be willing to get started. Be willing to be wrong and be willing to learn. That's what Rob does incredibly well. That's what I try to do every single day as well. And that's kind of what we wanted to be able to push to you guys here today. The last thing I'll say about this Facebook kind of hack, it reminds me of the Sony debacle. I think it was 2015 maybe.
Yeah, the PlayStation accounts.
Right? So they had, I don't know how many. I will pull it out of random, but they had a lot of accounts, a huge majority of their accounts were basically unearthed and shared inappropriately to other businesses outside. And people were really upset over it for a little bit of time, and sales dropped a little bit. And then guess what happened? It skyrocketed right back up because people forget they're big enough to take the hit. They're big enough to take the hit and continue keep on. Doesn't mean that they can take on anything and they're invincible. They're definitely not. But they can take this hit and they'll continue moving forward. You might have even forgotten about the Sony problem. When it happened, I was just like, all right, they didn't steal my credit card. I'm good. That's all I cared about. I mean, that's all I cared about. And if you believe that you're private in today's day and age anyways, good on you, but it's impossible. I mean, today's day and age, trying to be private and secretive of your online, space, it's just impossible. It's almost impossible. So I understand why people are upset over it. I certainly can, but I also wouldn't be concerned in the slightest bit about what Facebook's going to do. What do you think?
One of your greatest posts, actually, that I saw recently was, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product.
Yep.
I remembered that, and that is very true. I mean, effectively, if you're using a cloud-based platform like Facebook or anything else, you are the product. So you've got to get used to the fact that your data's been shared. I think what's important is quality moving forward, which is going to affect you. But if you think about it, if you've got a clear brand, if you know your audience, you know where their eyes are, it doesn't matter. You can be technically and platform what I call agnostic, i.e., you can do it on Facebook, but you can port your skills and just learn which buttons to press and go do it on LinkedIn, go do it somewhere else. Do it on all of them. Just do it. Just get out there, get your message out there to your audience and wow them and bring them into your business.
That's what it takes, guys. And I hope you really enjoyed today's podcast. We're going to close it out with the same question that we asked to every POD Hall of Famer. This is, after all, a prospecting group. We want to be able to share our great prospecting tips with you. One of the big things that Rob challenged me was, when he joined POD, how fast can I get a return on the investment? That's what he asked me. I said, well, how fast are you willing to implement? He said, today. Well, then today is when you could get the return on the investment. So let's think in that mindset, Rob. If someone's willing and ready to take action today, what's the fastest way for someone to land a client in your mind?
For me, I would say local business. If you have a decent sized town around you, there's going to be someone out there that needs what you do. And it could be a phone call, it could be an email, it could be walking down the street. You could be sat on $2,000 tomorrow very, very easily.
Exactly. I love that mindset. Guys, there's so much opportunity out there. Go create those RGOs, those revenue generating opportunities. I hope everyone enjoyed today's live podcast. If you're watching on replay, again, thank you so much for checking us out. If you watched live, we appreciate you so much. If you have not yet checked it out, check out the Quick Win Challenge today to go get your free client now, quickwinchallenge.com. Rob, for anyone that is interested in working with you or finding you, how can they do that? I know you've got your own group as well, so we'll put that in the comments below. Yeah. But other than that, how can people contact you?
robsayles.co.uk is the website. That's probably awesome. The best place you can get hold of me and also get into the group from there.
Excellent. Everyone, thank you guys so much for checking us out today. I hope you had a great time. We appreciate you being here with us. We will see you all very, very soon. Go out there, create those opportunities, and never give up, guys. We'll see you all then.